Hello. So as shared with you in my 11-month carnivore update, my son has joined me in becoming fully carnivore, and the rest of the family, most of their meals, except for like one, during the course of the day, is fully carnivore as well. And I still choose to serve them vegetables for at least one meal during the day, only because it's a hard mental shift for some of them, right? To just eat meat all day. And I feel like it's only fair to do that. I don't want to turn them off altogether from this idea. So I feel like it's, a good compromise to just do at least two meals that's fully carnivore, and then one where there are some vegetables, and I don't force them to eat the vegetables. If they want to eat it, they can. If not, they can choose to pass on it. And yeah, so I guess this is a combination of low carb / carnivore meals. So I hope you enjoy. All right, so here's what I'm having today. I'm going to have a steak, and I just seasoned it with salt. And I like my steak well done, so that's that. And then over here, I have for the children some lamb. And I just seasoned with the lamb with some salt and rosemary. And my husband actually grilled these the other day, and I just warmed them up in the oven for this meal. So I'm just having my steak, but they're going to have the lamb. And for those that want avocado, they can have some with it, and cucumbers. So here's another meal where I just served them some lamb again and just made some fried eggs, and I cooked the eggs up in bacon grease. Here I have some codfish that I fried just using pork rinds as the breading, and this is actually my husband's plate. He wanted some bell peppers with it, and everyone else just really had the fish by itself, and they were content with that. So right here, there's some hard-boiled eggs seasoned with salt and bone broth made with chicken feet. All right, so here's Elijah actually making a meal, and it's just some eggs seasoned with salt and then some Applegate pepperoni. So right here, I have some chicken broth, and if you can look, it just looks still pretty much gelled, but just took it out of the refrigerator, and I'm warming it up on the stovetop. And I have been trying to feed this to the family first thing with their first meal of the day. And honestly, I'm so on and off with this broth thing. Some months I'm just really good at it. Other months I totally forget, but I'm trying to be more consistent and have them drink at least a cup of broth each day. So this was made specifically with chicken feet, and they all seem to enjoy it. All right, so for this meal, it's actually on the stove cooking. I have some eggs, and here's our broth again. And then I have some sausages going in the back. So this was all in the process of everything being cooked, and this is what it looks like when it was actually plated. So yummy. Now here's just some random shots of the children eating the meals that I prepared for them, and I feel like it's so easy for people to be like, oh, my kids will never eat like that. And I have to say, listen, my kids aren't necessarily jumping up and doing backflips like, oh yes, I get to drink bone broth every morning. Yeah, some of them are not excited about the idea, but I feel like, you know what? If this is the only option and you're hungry enough, you're going to eat it. And they do. And, I just want to encourage the parents to not feel like, oh, my kids would just never go this way. That again, if this is the option that they have before them, and like I told my kids, you don't have to love everything that I put before you, but you are going to eat it. And if you don't eat it, you'll just be hungry. Because unless I know that you're allergic to something or this is going to have an adverse effect on you, you don't have an option. So just a little parenting tip. Now, in the spirit of full transparency, I do have 2 teenagers in the house that know how to cook. And we do have some food here from that are definitely not low carb and definitely not carnivore from before we started this, strict approach to eating. And they choose sometimes to cook it, and my thought is once that is done, whether or not you want to be on board with us, unless you can buy your own groceries, you're going to eat what we are eating. So I just kind of wanted to throw that out there. Here we have some more lamb, which I sprinkled with bacon grease. Here's a meal with broth, with eggs, and just seasoned with salt. And for this one, it's a sardine pizza, which is just sardine and eggs, which I cooked in bacon grease. And there was some broth that was served with this as well. All right, here we have some broth again with a burger and some bacon. Okay, we have some shrimp with some summer sausage, and it was interesting because some just ate the shrimp by itself, others wanted eggs with it, and then another person made soup with the sausage and the shrimp and just added some broth to it for soup. All right, and then here's some beef neck bones that I made in the Instant Pot along with some of the broth from the chicken feet. And for others, I just shredded the neck bone, the meat off of the neck bones. I was fine eating it directly from the bones, but as you see right here in this big bowl, I just went ahead and I just, got the meat off the bones for like the younger ones, and I saved the bones and actually made some broth with that later on so that once the chicken broth was done, we had some new broth awaiting us. All right, so some of the people in the household had already eaten, so I only had to cook for like 6 of us. So right here, I didn't have enough of one specific thing, so I made a little bit of everything. So right here, I have some shrimp that I cooked, and then I made some ground pork, and then made some burgers with a little bit of ground beef that was left, and made a few steaks. So it worked out because it wasn't for everyone in the house, and we just got a little bit of everything. All right, I hope these ideas inspired you. You be blessed.